Looking at the all-new Lectric XPeak Step Through. This is a 26-inch e-bike, really set up for off-road duty with 4-inch fat tires and RST Renegade shocks with 80 millimeters of travel. So this can really handle the bumpy roads, rocky terrain, any off-road situation it has no trouble with. But what it also means is that it's buttery smooth on nice paved trails. The bike comes in at 67 pounds, and that includes the battery, so overall pretty reasonable as far as the weight of this bike, especially when you look at the style of the frame and how rugged the construction is there, and that heavy-duty front fork assembly. So I found it really easy to put it on and off the bike rack for transport. Looking at things like the braking system, not only does this have disc brakes, but it's got the oversized 180 millimeter rotors. Plus, they're a hydraulic braking system, and that just means that you'll use far less effort to quickly and confidently come to a stop. The stated range for rider height is from 5'2" up to 6'3", but honestly I'd say it's more like 5'4" through 6'1". If you're much taller than 6 foot, you'll probably be happy with the Diamond High Step XPeak. All the same great features, but just in a step over style frame. That particular model feels a little bit longer in the wheelbase, and it's more appropriate for taller riders. The maximum rider weight is a generous 330 pounds, plus you can get 60 pounds of cargo on the included luggage rack. And XPeak also makes a really excellent saddlebag accessory. It's included in some packages, but you can always get it as an aftermarket accessory. Those are really handy because they expand and fit all sorts of gear for your longest rides. There's a heavy-duty through front axle that does a great job at securing the front wheel to that Renegade fork and really inspires confidence over that rough terrain. As far as the drivetrain, you get 7 gears, so really easy shifting. But what I noticed is the gears are taller than most to avoid ghost pedaling at higher speeds, and I really appreciate that. So I think Lectric got the layout of the drivetrain just right. And it's rounded out with other things like forged aluminum crankset and quick release pedals for easier transport. You get a thumb style throttle, which is smooth and responsive. I don't typically judge e-bikes whether they have a thumb throttle or a twist style throttle. I consider those on the same playing field. I don't prefer one over the other. It's just whatever your preference happens to be, but just know that the XPeak does come with a thumb style throttle. The motor is plenty powerful, but what really got me thinking was how quiet this motor is. It's almost silent. Anywhere in the range that you're using this, even pulling up hills with heavy assist, the motor is just super quiet. The battery is nicely integrated into the frame, and it's conservatively rated at 14 ampere hours. What we've noticed in practical terms is if you go for a 20-mile bike ride, even up steep hills and using the higher assist levels, your battery life will still be about 60% or better. So overall, very impressive battery life. What about negatives of the XPeak Step Through? I would say the seat comfort is not very good with the stock configuration, but Lectric offers an upgraded comfort seat package with a really comfortable seat as well as a shock seat post. The only other negative is just in terms of loading it onto a bike rack. The position of the large headlight gets in the way of some crossbar adapters, so you might have to settle on a smaller crossbar adapter to easily mount it onto your rack. There's so many more positives with this XPeak than there are negatives, and we really enjoy the fat tires and the way that gives you confidence along with the RST Renegade forks. That extra travel really makes a difference when the road gets rocky. So I would highly recommend this XPeak, whether it's the step through frame or the Diamond High Step. And the primary reason you would choose the High Step would be your height. If you're much over 6 foot, go with the Diamond High Step. If ease of getting on and off the bike is more important, go with the Step Through.